Guys, happy morning. Okay. I'm very sorry for whatever the delay that has happened. But let me always put it like this. As a management student, you should know life is not always about what all is not there. Right now, whatever is there, with that, what is that you can execute. Irrespective of whatever kind of a businessman you want to become, whatever entrepreneurship verticals you want to choose, can you be daring enough to say, I will do everything possible when all the resources are given, that anybody can do it? I am ready to do with whatever little resources I have. That is called as an intelligent and smart work. Whenever you look at the evolution of our industry also, our industry started getting its different verticals and different jump because of how the resources were always used. So today I would be emphasizing on interpersonal skills. So one of the basic interpersonal skills definitely is how you present yourself in front of an audience. You are a businessman, you meet people. But that first impression what you set when you meet a person is going to be an everlasting impression, and for that you should be well prepared. The best example could be, I think you guys would be admiring these Shark Tanks. Whenever you see certain smart youngsters who come in Shark Tank and they actually put across their business in that 2 or 3 minutes of capsule, and they make it look as though they have presented the entire business module so beautifully that nobody can pick up any flaws from them. In order to do such kind of a presentation, you need an excellent interpersonal skills. This is one of the main ingredient that is required for you to become successful. Today, if you're not a BBA, if you're not an MBA, you can still become an excellent business entrepreneur provided you have this what is called as interpersonal skills. Interpersonal skills can be given various names. You can call it as soft skills, you can call it as a combination of soft and hard skills, you can call it as sociable skills, you can call it as public speaking skills, you can call it as communication skills. So there are different brand name given to all of this. Ultimately, when you have an excellent interpersonal skills, this is the only thing that can help you even to get through the interview. Like irrespective of whatever job you have in mind or irrespective of whatever startup you want to start, there is always a dream in you that whenever I meet people, people should get impressed in my first few lines what I speak. So that those first few lines has to be put with lot of pre-preparation. It cannot simply come and you spontaneously put it across, it will not work. You will have to practice for that to happen, and that can only happen if you have practiced n number of times. So today we will define these interpersonal skills. We will see what are those interpersonal skills, how do I develop these interpersonal skills, and how do I understand what are my SWOT of my interpersonal skills. What are my strengths in my interpersonal skills? What are all my weaknesses in my interpersonal skills? How do I improve my strengths and make it still better so that more opportunities will pour in? How can I work on my weaknesses, which is one vertical of my interpersonal skill, and how will I fine tune it so that over a period of time that will never be my weakness at all. Where possibilities of change is possible, you can always do. Where there is no possibility of change, with whatever you have, you will have to improvise it. Let me put it in a simple term. What I mean by where you can improve. There are a lot of advertisements of various creams, but there was this gentleman who wanted to be an actor, and he tried at least getting small roles when he went to various shooting spots and asked various directors, I want a role. Looking at him from top to bottom, nothing looked like he has that kind of a what you call it as a decorum which can match a skill set of being an actor. Forget about being a star, forget about being a superstar. When people looked from top to bottom, nothing looked white there, nothing looked fairy there. He was looking as dark as he could. He had a very huge face and his chest was also not so comfortable. Definitely no 9-packs, no 6-packs. His height was not superly good, but he had one thing that nobody else had. He had a style. His style was such a statement that he used to attract people by making multiple such styles, and that man today is the highly paid superstar Rajinikanth. Any kind of a cream, even Rajini sir knew that applying it multiple times cannot change my color. Any kind of working on my height will not change my height. What I cannot change, I will not be worried about it. Whatever I can change, I will start investing time on that. And that what I can change can take me from what I am to something else. And for that, definitely interpersonal skills is required. There are a lot of chaiwalas. But every chaiwala cannot become that prime minister. You need the required interpersonal skills, and he had maximum interpersonal skills of various verticals, so he became what he became. One of the interpersonal skills is living out of conviction also. When a choice is given and an option is given, I am taking this choice of conviction that I am daring to actually take up fear, I am daring to actually take up pain, not pleasure, because I know that kind of a living of conviction will take me to from a chaiwala to a prime minister. Tribal women, the moment I put it across, they will have to live in the forest. Fine. Their pet animals are not our pet animals. Their pet animals are wild animals. She lived there. Did she go to school? I don't know. In most of the villages, we don't have electricity, we don't have schools, we don't have hospitals. And people who live as tribals, what kind of an environment they would be living up to? One of the greatest interpersonal skills that is required is living life out of conviction that I want to make a big difference in my life. My life is not ordinary. God has gifted me this life because I'm supposed to do something among us. When this kind of a confidence is lying in you and a conviction is there, even a tribal woman can become the president. I'm talking about Draupadi Murmu. We cannot actually compare, because most of the time what happens, whenever I'm talking about interpersonal skills, our entire wordings of interpersonal skills, when we say, we always want to blame the entire world for me not being successful. We want to blame the entire world for me not being successful. But let me put it, it is not so. Let me take up this beautiful phrase. We always say, Dushman kahan hai? Okay, again, Dushman kahan hai? Little louder. Dushman kahan hai? But let me tell you, दुश्मन बगल में नहीं है, दुश्मन अंदर है. If you are successful, you are not successful because of your neighbors. If a fisherman's son makes up a conviction that I want to make big in life, his dushman was not his parents who were fishermen. His dushman was not even his brothers and sisters who did not want to study at all because nothing went into their head. But this man stood there with lot of conviction telling, agar dushman hai to andar hi hai, let me kill that dushman and let me create a dost in me. Ask yourself, if you are going to become successful, it is only because of you. And if you are going to become a failure, again it is only because of you. You have a choice whether I want to be a dushman to myself or I want to be a dost to myself. If you want to be a dost to yourself, you will know what kind of things to do so that your life takes a path where a chaiwala becomes a prime minister, a tribal woman becomes the greatest president, and a fisherman's son becomes the greatest scientist, Abdul Kalam. You have various constraints. My father is not an engineer. My father is not an entrepreneur. My father is not Steve Jobs. My father is not Microsoft Bill Gates. Why are you comparing all this? Because somewhere you have lost confidence in you. You think if I need to become successful, it is because of somebody who is sitting next to me or somebody who is top of me. Definitely not. If you are going to be successful, it is only because of you. And if you are going to be a failure, it is only because of you. Today's class, I am not going to speak anything new. Every day your teachers, your lecturers would have told the same thing. A choice would be given to you where you can upgrade on the skill sets or you can continue with the same skill sets. Two options are always given to you. If you choose to upgrade, that means you are making a choice between pleasure and pain. What do I mean by choice between pleasure and pain? See, anything that you want to actually upgrade, anything that you want to learn, that always is a painful act. let me go for a public speaking seminar sessions. Let me upgrade on my public speaking skills. Let me upgrade on my English skills. Let me upgrade on my vocabulary skills. Let me upgrade on my computer skills. Let me upgrade on my technical computer skills. It could be Python, it could be data analysis, it could be artificial intelligence, it could be anything, machine learning. To get into that kind of a vertical, you will have to ask yourself that, am I ready to take up pain instead of pleasure? Because anything that is painful now will give you a permanent pleasure in future, and anything that is actually pleasurable now will definitely give you a permanent pain in future. Right now I need to get up early in the morning at 4 o'clock, because people do say the man who gets up early in the morning at 4 o'clock, what we call it as Brahmi Muhurta, just before the sun rises and after the sunrise, that time before the sunrise and after the sunrise is called as the most sacred time of the entire 24 hours. At that time, the energy level is so high that with little efforts you can get maximum benefit out of it. Because you are a BBA students, you also know all the great entrepreneurs, they have one good habit, and one of those habits is getting up early in the morning. Yes, it is a routine you will have to follow. I told you about interpersonal skills. Can you live out of conviction, come what may? From tomorrow my routine is fixed. I will never sleep after 4. I will never sleep after 5. Something has to be fixed. And when you religiously, consistently follow this over a period of time, definitely your results will be positive. But we try to take up the easy ones. Getting up early in the morning is a painful act. Sleeping when it is very chilling is such a pleasurable act. You want pleasure, you want pleasure. The more you start giving pleasure to yourself, please be assured there is a pain which is awaiting there, a permanent pain. Right now you are in your first year BBA or in second year BBA. The highest that you could score in your BBA definitely will be a compliment for you when you are looking for a job, because aggregate marks also does make a difference. But how many of you are ready to actually take a pain on a daily basis, that telling I will do nothing else other than this which can help me in my studies? And when you consistently keep taking such pain regularly, you will have a permanent pleasure that you will experience when your aggregate of all 3 years is going to be high. So, right from today, you will have to make this serious decision, come what may. From today, every choices that I execute, I'll ask myself whether I'm experiencing pain or pleasure. If I'm experiencing pleasure, I will not do it, because I know initial pleasure will give me permanent pain. Initial pleasure would give me permanent pain. So what I will do, if there is a pain, I'll start accepting it, because I know initial pain will definitely give me permanent pain. There is a beautiful saying, where there is a will, there is a way. All of you agree with that? Okay, can you repeat it? Where there is a will, there is a way. 3 times. Where there is a will, there is a way. Where there is a will, there is a way. Where there is a will, there is a way. But let me put it the other way. There is always a way. Do you have the will? In your same college, in most of the subjects, people have got cent%. That means that is also possible. There is always a way. Why? People have already got that cent% in the same college. But do you have that will? That is a question you will have to ask. In the same college campus, people have been offered 10 lakhs per month, 5 lakhs per month, and people are also offered 50,000 per month. There is always a way. But do you guys have that will? I'll have to hit that bullseye when it comes to campus recruitment. Because campus drive will not happen and your father-in-law will not be sitting there to interview. Hey, anyway, mera hi ladka hai, job de do. It's not going to be like that. You will have to match your skill sets, what the HR expects. Only then the job is going to be yours. That again is your interpersonal skills. Giving you this brief, let us try to understand what are interpersonal skills. We will go in a lessonly manner. We will look at what is interpersonal skills, what are the components of interpersonal skills, how do I improve on my interpersonal skills. Just to give you the definition, Interpersonal skills are those essential skills involved while dealing or when you are relating to people. So it mostly boils down to how you actually interact with people. It could be it could be an organization which can give you a business. It could be a banking sector which can give you a loan. It could be your customers who are ready to believe in you and give you the order. So everything boils down to how you're dealing and how you're relating with people. One of the greatest gift what Dhirubhai Ambani had was he was able to communicate to his so-called clients. He was so strong in his communication skills, and whenever he spoke, everybody blindly believed him and they were ready to invest. That is how his stock went up to what we call it as a super high. And that was because he had this people handling skills in a very greatest manner. So that is one skill set that you will have to learn. And a good interpersonal skills are those with strong verbal or non-verbal communication. Because you are a BBA student, you would definitely be good in both verbal and non-verbal. But can you improvise on that? When there is a time duration given and you will have to speak on a particular subject, when there are queries that may come across from the audience, that handling of verbal communication is very, very important. And while you're presenting this, what is the non-verbal communication you are reflecting? What is your dress code? How is your eye contact? How is your hand gesture? How do you look into the eyes of the audience? Or how will you look into the eyes of your clients? And how will you make them believe that your product is one of the best? You will have to do that, and you will not be given hours together in that 5 minutes of your pitch. Not even 5 minutes. In that 3 to 4 minutes of your pitch, the Shark Tank angel investors will have to believe in you, and they should say, I'm ready to invest 80 lakhs, I'm ready to invest 90 lakhs or a 1 crore or a 2 crore for whatever stake. So communication definitely plays a very important role, and definitely communication should be with facts. Just because I can blabber, I keep on telling whatever I want, it would never be accepted. And believe me, irrespective of whatever communicator you are, there will always be an audience who will not like you, and there will definitely be an audience who will love you. So you will have to just get aligned to those who can love you and continue your business with them. And you will always have people who will not like you. So throwing inhibitions and getting into a confused state that I want to make everybody believe that they will have to be a part of me, that can never happen. Irrespective of whoever you are. Who could be the greatest communicator? Definitely Krishna. It was easy for him to say one line and make Arjuna believe that he has to pick up the bow and arrow and start fighting. But it was not easy for him. He had to give chapter after chapter, chapter after chapter, chapter after chapter, chapter after chapter. Only after the 18th chapter, this man says, oh, I am ready now. I'll pick up the bow and arrow and I'll start fighting. And at no point of time, Krishna told, you will have to fight. Communication is that. At no point of time, you will tell the customer that you will have to buy this product. But you will say everything else that should give him a feeling, this product should be with me, with my wife, with my kids, with my generations to come. That kind of a communication, whether it is verbal or non-verbal, that has to be put across. So most of you would be good in various interpersonal skills. But we will look at one by one where all you could improve on your interpersonal skills. When you get into an interview, the process of an interview is always trying to check all these verticals. Because I have gone for a campus drive initially when I was recruited for a sister concern of one of the top companies. We used to go to the college. When we visited the college for a campus drive, let me tell you, the entire campus looked alike. Everybody had come with the same kind of knowledge because all were MBA or all were engineers, all were MCAs, all were BCAs. Everybody's influence of things were also the same because everybody was in the same block, everybody was influenced by the same news that was surrounding them. So it was like an herd, and we used to find it very difficult to select the best ones. So for us, technically they had given us verticals where we had to give them points between 0 to 10. How we check it? That actually comfort zone that was given to us, the liberty was given to us. How we are going to check? We used to check on all these verticals. By communicating with you for a little while, we would automatically know what are all your skill sets in this. Definitely, active listening is one of it. It is not always that you will have to speak. Whenever we talk about great leaders are those who listen more and speak a little. So, a good listening skills is very important. And sometimes we say if you are capable of listening between the lines, that would be the greatest. So, a good listening skills is one of the interpersonal skills that you should have. So whenever you're communicating, trying to understand the question and exactly to the point telling the answer. If you want to really know how this happens in a real world, Shark Tank is the best example. In that few minutes when a question is asked, if you find the person who is actually presenting his business to the Shark Tankers, he will not be able to give the justified answer. Immediately they will revolt back telling this was not the answer that I was expecting. So that way you should be a very good active listener. You will have to practice being that active listener. There are certain group activities where we could involve you in, or if you Google you would know that how to improve your active listening skills. That would be very important. And definitely you should be a team person. Whenever you get into a job, there is no such job where it is going to be a one-man army. It has to be a teamwork. So they will definitely try to identify, are you a team person or are you an individual person? For that, they may put little activities where they may put you into a group discussion. They would be giving you a topic and they would be asking you to speak on that particular topic. That would be your teamwork. And yes, as a good leader, taking up responsibilities would be very important. Sometimes in the interview, we always ask, do you have any past such experience where you would have taken responsibility and executed various tasks? It could be a blood donation camp that would have happened in your college. It could be any kind of public seminar that would have happened in your college. So you should have stories to say that a responsibility was given to me and I had executed this responsibility and this is how the results came. This is also one of the interpersonal skills. So they will try to identify whether you are a responsibility taker, because if a person is not ready to take responsibility, then what happens? You will definitely not get more responsibilities. If a person takes up small responsibility, executes it beautifully, then what happens? Automatically higher responsibilities will be poured onto him. So they will definitely ask this question just to identify whether you take up your responsibility well or not. Just being just an academic student will not help. Let me share one of my experience, what happened in my engineering. It so happened that in our final year engineering, we had this same campus drive. When the campus drive was announced, we were happy because our ultimate goal, you as a BBA student after completing BBA and MBA, your ultimate goal is to hit the jackpot, the good job. To hit the jackpot, the good job, you know there is something called as an interview. So, interviews play a very important role for you to actually bridge that gap between the companies you want to work and the good salaries or a good job that you want to get in. So, please be aware that you will have to experience something called as interview. So, there, it so happened that they came and told that you will have an interview and it is going to be scheduled in the next week. I was very happy, but at the same time, I was little confused and there was butterflies in my stomach. All of you have this? If assuming there is a mock interview or let it be an interview, Infosys has come, Accenture has come, if these kinds of an input comes, will you feel comfortable? No. There would be butterflies running in you. So, let me actually make few facts correct here because it is very, very important. How many of you feel an HR is an angel? What is your perception? Your perception and my perception at that time when I was attending my first few campus drive was we were afraid of an HR. We used to fear an HR as though he's a dragon or a Dracula, and his only intention is to not reject us. That was what our perception. But only when I became an HR, I realized that is exactly not the truth. The truth is, an HR is not a dragon or a Dracula. He is an angel who is waiting to say yes to you. Because when I got an opportunity to be an HR, our reporting used to happen in the evening. They used to ask, how many candidates did you interview? I used to say, we interviewed around 40. How many recruits did you do? And I told, no recruits. Then काम क्या कर रहे हो? अरे यार recruitment तो करना ही है. And next day what I did, with zeal and enthusiasm, I did 25 recruits. After I did 25 recruits, the same day, the HR called me in the evening. Before he could ask me, I told, sir, 50 interviews and 25 recruited. 25 recruited? Then go and talk to one of your senior. Tell him you recruited 25. I went to my senior and I spoke to him. I recruited 25. How would anybody recruit 25? Because when you complete an interview and the interviewer says you have been selected, you're tension free. But for an HR, when he says that you're being selected, the HR should get an acknowledgement from the floor manager that this candidate whom I have selected for a particular skill set should exactly match the skill set. Sometimes excellent interpersonal skills can make you a winner. But when you get into the job, when you're really working on the real-time environment, the floor manager should feel that you're the best. Only then my recruit will be considered as good. Otherwise, it would be bad. One fine day, I got a call after 1 month from the floor manager and he told, who is this Mallikarjuna? They asked and they told he's a new recruit. Then immediately a call came to me. Are you Mallikarjuna? Yes. One of the days you did 25 recruits, na? In that 25, only 5 were good, 20 were hard. I told, why? They wanted Java. I asked them the same 4 questions and that floor manager told they only know the answer for those 4 questions. So, look at the perspective. We thought the HR is a devil or a Dracula who is not ready to say yes to you, but he is there to say yes to you because his intention is also to select you. Let us make a little perception change because all of you are actually feeling sleepy. All of your hands are free. Can you loosen your hands a little bit? See, there are 3 kinds of learnings what we can do. One is learning looking at me. One more is audio learning. We call it as auditory learning. One more is visual learning, what you see and do. But more effective would be for those who are sleeping. Some of you are closed your eyes and you're sleeping like one there. And some of you have opened up your eyes and still you're sleeping because your mind is rounding around there. So for that, a little bit of activity so that you feel more comfortable. We want to change the perception. All of you know this Inception. How many of you have watched this movie Inception? Inception, the movie goes something like this. There is a mind block in us. We assume certain things is in this particular way only. Because of that, our fear starts actually gigantically growing, and over a period of time, we will never be able to overcome that fear. So what is Inception is getting into his subconscious mind and changing that object into a new object. Now, what was our Inception? We thought the HR is a devil. So we want to change that HR from devil to angel. To do that, we will have to do a kinesthetic teaching. Just audio and visual teaching will not help. That's the reason I asked you, is your hands free? So we will do a simple exercise. All of you with me, you will do. Okay, the HR, hold your hands like this. The HR, repeat after me. The HR is not a dragon or a Dracula. Action is not coming. Guys, again, the HR is not a dragon or a Dracula, but he is an angel. Angel, this way. Angel who is there to recruit me. But he cannot recruit me if I don't meet certain criteria on the left side, on the right side, certain criteria. What will be that criteria? Good active listening, good teamwork, responsibility holder, you are a dependable person, leadership skills, all this. We will do it once more so that it gets imbibed in you. Next time in your campus, when somebody announces what is called as interview drive, please don't be afraid, because there is not a devil, an angel is sitting there. I'll tell you why an angel also. My friend, I don't know, he was an excellent recruiter. He was such an excellent recruiter. I sometime went up to him and I asked him, do you do some black magic or white magic? Some magic do you do? Why is that all the recruits you do are perfectly good and even the floor manager will say excellent? I somehow wanted to see it happening, so I went and asked him. He somehow avoided me for a few days, and because I was pestering him again and again, he once came and told, I'm ready to share that idea with you. What is that idea? All of you should know, when an HR calls you to his HR room, after every candidate who walks in, he will take some time in between. All of you know? My friend also used to take some time. I did not know what exactly he does. We used to immediately say when a candidate is walking out, send the next candidate. But he used to say, ask the next candidate to wait at the door. When I call him, ask him to come. And he used to spend 2-3 minutes all alone. I went and asked, what do you do in 3 minutes that you get all the recruits right? He had 3 drawers in his, what we call it as an HR table. On the top drawer, he just pulled, there was Ganesha. In the second drawer, as he pulled, there was this Allah symbol. On the third drawer, there was Jesus. And I told, why? I pray. I don't know whether Amar will be coming or Akbar will be coming or Anthony will be coming. Somehow I pray to God. See, the HR prays to God because an HR never wants to say no to you. The HR never wants to say no to you, but the HR cannot say yes to you if you don't meet certain criteria. That is where the problem arises. So we as an HR, our only intention is we need to recruit you. But we cannot recruit you as long as you don't meet certain criteria, and that is where we would like to check all these criteria. One by one, we would like to check all these criteria by talking to you for a certain amount of time. We would get an idea what is your verbal communication skills, what is your non-verbal communication skills, how is your leadership skills, how is your dependability. Are you a man who can be dependable? If today, if your teacher assigns you a work, there is a seminar in this particular seminar hall, the photography will be your responsibility. The minutes of the entire seminar writing would be your responsibility. Summarizing and giving this will be your responsibility. The welcome speech would be one person's responsibility, and the conclusion Thanksgiving speech would be another person's responsibility. Once such responsibility are given, are you a dependable person that people would trust you and say, I can depend on you? Believe me, that dependability will come when you have executed your earlier responsibilities beautifully. First time, sometimes opportunities will come by, let me put it could be by mistake also opportunities may come because nobody else would be ready to take up that opportunity. But the upgradable opportunities will always come when you are responsible, when you are dependable, when you execute proper leadership skills, when you are able to motivate people. Only then it comes. Let me share one beautiful story to you, because the confidence that you execute in the interview, that you can be responsible, you can be dependable, you have that leadership skills, you have that inner motivation deep inside you. All these has to be exhibited in that small 5-10 minutes of interview that you actually face. So for that, languaging is very important. Languaging with the right kind of emotions is very important. Sometimes when we watch certain business people speaking, the way they project, how is their vision, would be so much filled with clarity, nobody would feel a second thought at all. So that would happen when you take up small responsibilities and execute. Let me share one beautiful story so that you understand. All of you know how the first World Cup, 2020 World Cup captain was selected. Who was the captain of the first 2020 World Cup? MS Dhoni. Everybody knows that. Did we win the first 2020 World Cup? Yes. And which was the team that was considered least possible to win this 2020 World Cup? Was again India also. Among three other teams, India was also considered as the most least expected team which would at least qualify for a semis. Let me explain you. When the first 2020 match was announced or the World Cup was announced, India did not have any exposure on 2020 playing at all, because we were playing one-day internationals, we were playing test matches. During that time, the management had a very tough task that they had to select a team and send for World Cup, because they could not say we are not going to play this first 2020 World Cup. So because there was no other choice, they had to put a team and send it to the World Cup. They never expected some kind of a positive results. They just wanted them to go and participate. That was the whole objective. So what they thought, because it is a new kind of a game, let us have a mixture of juniors and seniors put together so that this combination can give maximum results out of the match. As a BBA student, all of you know, when you decide on a project, you will pick up the human resources based on the skill sets what you have. So having multiple skill sets will definitely be a higher stake in order to get you recruited to the company. Even in the team, I'm a good batsman, I sometimes can ball also, I'm also a keeper. Then what happens? There is more possibility that you will be selected. In the same manner, all these interpersonal skills, the maximum you are good at. You may be weak in one or two, that may not count at all. But if you can be maximum good in most of it, that can give you phenomenal results. Beautiful example is MS Dhoni. It so happened they wanted to select a captain. So what they decided, we will select a leader for this business from the senior most because they have experience. But the senior business people should be having experience and they should also have a confidence that I can do it. And they should not be afraid of failure. When we look at this entire projection, even in the interview, we would like to know whether a candidate who is attending the interview across the table, is he daring enough to say, I don't mind failing multiple times. Can you actually share something where you have failed miserably and which taught me a lesson? You cannot say I have never failed. You should have answer to all this. Definitely your trainers will teach you. It is very important to know that you have failed and you have jumped back, because there is no such businessman who has become very, very successful without failing multiple times. So you should be daring enough to say, I don't have few skill sets, I'll work on it. I have failed multiple times, I will work on it. This daringness is also important as a BBA or an MBA student. So let me take up this, how exactly the team was selected, because all these skill sets from the cricket perspective was selected. When you become an entrepreneur, depending on what enterprise you are starting, you will have to choose a skill set which is oriented towards that. When I say teamwork, I am starting an hospital, I am not a doctor. I can collect few excellent like-minded doctors, put them together and start a beautiful hospital which can actually grow multifolds and which can have a chain of hospitals. I am nothing. I am just an ordinary teacher. I am just an ordinary nurse. But I have a vision. Okay, I have a vision that I want to start a chain of hospitals. Because there were a lot of people who were suffering in the streets of Calcutta, and that lady on that day decides, I want to start missionaries of charity which will actually help all the poor people across the world. That was her vision, and today she becomes the Mother Teresa, whom we call the saint. So this way, whenever you are looking at all these objectives, they will be looking at an overall perspective. So when I take up Dhoni as an example, they had to select a team, combination of juniors and seniors. They also had to select a captain. First they will come to the junior team members. When they came to the senior team members, they announced they need to select a captain. When they announced that they need to select a captain, most of the senior players told, we don't want to be a part of this business only, means project. I'm talking from a BBA perspective. And they told, I don't want to be a captain, nor I want to be a part of the team, because this is an youngsters game. Let the youngsters go. It will be an experience for them. That was not their objective. They were afraid of that confidence that they had in them. And they were also afraid of failures that they would encounter, because they knew we have least experience in 2020 World Cup. At that point of time, only 3 players from the seniors will agree to be a part of this team, and now they come to the junior teams. In the junior team members, when they were addressing, they told, we have already selected the captain. Now we just need to select few players along with the senior players. And the management just throws a simple challenge. In case if we want to send a captain from these juniors, who would like to captain? Immediately one hand raises. That spontaneity, that confidence, that motivation, that patience of I can do it. So all this is been executed in one go. And that man says, I want to be a captain. It was never looked back. He was announced as a captain. The first match we lost. Failures will be there. When the first match was lost, he did not lose any of this. He had problem solving. He identified the problem. He knew what decision to make. Players were actually down. He mediated with the players and made them actually feel confident. It's okay, we have only lost the first match. We still have a lot of matches to go. And he was ready to manage the conflicts that the entire team was having. And he was able to build up. He was able to negotiate with them, build confidence in them. He was able to persuade them. He was able to emotionally touch their emotional imbalance, because when they lose the first match in 2 minutes, when they lose the first match, you know what is the confidence of shattering that would happen? In one few minutes or whatever that time was there, from the first match was the last to the next match what they had to play, all these interpersonal skills and being empathetic to those people who did not perform. He did not shout on the top of the voice. He was very empathetic. He patiently knew that next match we are going to win. And he actually played the next match. They won, and there was no other matches we lost, and we finally got the World Cup. And just because a responsibility was given, he was dependable, he showed all the skill sets. Within 3 to 6 months, they also chose him as one-day cricket captain. By fluke, he got the 2020 World Cup captain. But next he got one day also, next he got even the test matches also. So I would like to wind up with this. These are the interpersonal skills. Please work on these skill sets. I think if you would have started a little earlier, we would have had more time to complete. Thank you very much. It was a lovely audience. If you have any questions, we will ask. Otherwise, thank you very much.
Yeah, since another section is
Secession.
One more section is there. People are waiting. Students are waiting there. I hope that you got some insights connected with this. So this is a part of your, when we subscribe to the Deccan Herald newspaper, so they are giving you a section on these type of skills. Maybe a few more sections may be there in the coming months, so we will inform you about it. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
You can move that way, backside.